Hey guys, so one of the most commonly asked questions I get is what lens should I get? So I kind of want to talk about that today and going through all of the things that you guys should take into consideration when you are trying to figure out what the best lens is for you. First things first, I feel like when you are trying to figure out what lens you should get, you have to think about what you shoot. So for me, I shoot a lot of flat lays, I shoot a lot of bloggers, I shoot a lot of campaign images. So it's a pretty diverse cast of subjects, and so I need a lens that is very versatile, that can go from the wide event photos to like a tight beauty shot. I just kind of want to go through some of the lenses that I have and what I've used before. Definitely before you buy a lens, I would recommend renting it from Sammy's just to try it out, just because the one lens that you have will be your best friend, and it is such a big investment that you should definitely test it out before you commit. If you are a beginner, I think you can't go wrong with the 50mm. This is my very first lens ever. Oh my god, I have to show you guys. It's actually broken. I dropped it like a week ago, but I actually don't use this anymore. The 50mm is a great beginner's lens. It has like the nice bokeh. This one is a 1.8 f-stop and it's fairly inexpensive. It's only $100, so it's definitely just like if you're a beginner and you want to test it out, this is a great lens to just try. I definitely don't recommend shooting on a kit lens. I just think the glass on that is terrible. Definitely upgrade to a 50 if you can, just because also this is great for like portraits, and then just try it out. Like, I really recommend it. For me, this has been my baby for the past 4 years. Like, I have been shooting on the Canon 6D with a 24-105 lens. This is the only lens that I have and that I bought. I didn't invest in like the 70-200 or whatever. It was just like too expensive and out of my budget. This has been really faithful to me, like, honestly. The focus is a little shot right now because it's been like 4 or 5 years, but I would say don't worry too much about the body. You don't need the Mark III or 4 or whatever 5 that it's at right now. Just invest in a really good lens and really sharpen your skills as a photographer. At the end of the day, it's not the camera, it's you. I upgraded to a Sony in the past year because, I mean, I've been shooting on a 6D for 4 years. It was time for an upgrade. I like the Sony because it's a mirrorless camera, and I just feel like with the way things are going, that's like the future of like life. And also it had a higher megapixel count, so I actually can get a lot more detailed shots when I shoot beauty now. I can see everything in the pores because the density of the pixels are like there. One thing I did get, however, and it's my favorite, it's the 100mm macro lens, because I shoot a lot more beauty now and I really wanted to get tight on the skin, and I shoot a lot of like beauty textures, like swatches, and then I have to get really tight on like the lotion or whatever to see the texture. So these are my two current lenses right now, is the 100mm and then the 24-70. So I have the one that's really wide range, and then I have the fixed lens that I only use when I'm shooting like beauty campaigns, and that's the 100mm. So that is kind of like the history of what I've used and what I'm using right now. Since, you know, so many of you guys are like curious as to like what my gear is, I'm just gonna talk about lens basics for now. These are just like tidbits about like focal lenses, focal lengths that you should know. There are wide angle lenses, and then there's telephoto lenses, which telephoto is like zoomed and like you can get like the really tight detail shots and stuff like that, and then like the wider the shot, the more distortion there is. And that's just like truth, because the way that lenses are shaped is that the glass is curved. So when you are shooting wide, then you're using the full curved lens, which causes distortion. So for example, like you would never shoot a portrait using, like you never shoot a headshot using a wide angle, just because it'll distort their face and their head will look like a football. But that's also why I like using a wide angle to shoot my full body, because then it can make me look really tall because of the distortion. So knowing that, I think, will help you decide what kind of lens you want. So just to give you guys some visual examples, this, for example, was definitely shot on a wide angle, and you can see from how low the photographer was that they were able to use the wide angle to capture the background, the tall model, and everything like that. Whereas if you look up here, this was definitely shot on a at least 100mm from far away just to get the compression of everything, because if you look at them, they're perfectly proportioned, the lines are straight, there is no distortion. But down here, this line is so crooked, it's not even close to being straight. So it just really depends on the wide angle, like the focal length that you want to use and the look that you want to get. So that's it for my, I guess, kind of rant and tidbit about focal lengths and what lens is right for you. There is no one answer, to be honest with you. Like, you have to do your research, you have to test out these lenses, and the more you use them, the more you'll realize, like, I really like this look. I hope that helped, and just to give you guys an example of like the lenses I have, I hope that provided more information to you. I'm gonna try to talk more about like photography and like all of this stuff, so I don't know, like if you guys have any questions, just like comment, and I really hope to build a community with you guys where it's more about information and sharing, and let's all become better photographers. Thanks, and talk to you guys soon.